mind you can't control. Running wild, can't calm down. My head is in the clouds. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We gotta party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. Before a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. We gotta party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. Before a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. I'm on my last straw. I'm broken and I'm woken up. I'm done feeding your lies. I've had enough. I can't run your place in this faulty game. And all the words you speak mean nothing more to me. 'Cause let's start over now. Rewind. And I won't let you go. I need you by my side. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. you don't know how. You say we're taking on water, yeah, we're sinking now. You're looking all concerned, like we're gonna drown. But we both know how to swim, no worries as we'll fall now. Let's take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow, who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. I drag you out your mind, and there are days I hate you, but baby, you're still mine. And then we have the best times, no matter what we do. And even when we don't, there's nobody I'd rather choose. Let's take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow, who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. I'm on my last straw, I'm broken.
Well, hello again. How's everyone doing? Hope you are well. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. Today is September 25th, 2024, 4:41 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Thanks. Whoopsie, one second. We'll do, might as well. Let's do 2 o'clock. Why not? Forgot to turn thing off. All right. Whoever did rain dancers for Tennessee, please stop. We need the rain. I am glad it's raining. I just re-sowed my lawn, and that means it saves on my water bill. So I'm glad it's raining personally. It has been so dry. I'm outside rain dancing pretty much. We're all getting rain. We're all getting rain. So, hopefully it doesn't flood. But I'm glad it's raining. Good to see you all. Thank you for joining me. Really do appreciate it. There is some breaking news out of Kentucky that is going on in Letcher County. This was a really tragic incident. A pew-pewing from District Judge Kevin Mullins by Sheriff Mickey Stines at the Letcher County Courthouse. Sheriff Stines allegedly walked into the judge's office, asked to speak with him alone in the private chambers. After a brief conversation behind closed doors, there were shots that rang out. And Steins shot the judge, and then he immediately surrendered after exiting the office. The motive behind this, pew-pewing remains unclear. There's a lot of rumors and speculation going around about what has been happening in the Letcher County Courthouse for years, locals tell us. But the community is in shock. And most people in the community knew both men. They were all well known, they were respected, and public figures. Chief Justice Lawrence Van Meter ordered flags to be lowered to all Kentucky Court of Justice facilities in honor of Judge Mullins. The Letcher County Courthouse has been closed temporarily as the community mourns uh, the loss of the judge and as they continue to investigate. The Letcher County lead prosecutor, Matt Butler, he has recused himself from this case due to personal ties to the judge, adding another layer of complexity in these upcoming and current legal proceedings. Uh, Sheriff Stines has been charged with first-degree capital unaliving, and the investigation is ongoing. Just a little bit ago, can I unhide CJK, please? Thank you, Skyman. Shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. I don't have a lot of people blocked, but I'll check. Just a little bit ago, we are going to see the sheriff. He has pled not guilty, which is very interesting that this happened. I mean, I don't know how he's going to get out of this, but he's pled not guilty. And you're going to see him in his new attire, even though he technically is still the sheriff of the county. Maybe temporary insanity, perhaps, but the thing with that is maybe a crime of passion. Could be a crime of passion. A crime of passion is usually a less charge than obviously something like premeditated. There has been a lot of really, really, really unprofessional conduct in this courthouse. There have been alleged cameras put in the judge's chamber with actual acts going on. They say that it is alleged that the judge would and others would give lighter sentences to those that maybe on the younger side and if they would do favors for them. Mex Chica brings up a good point. Just an hour or so, 2 maybe, before the judge was dead, the sheriff and the judge had lunch together. What happened in the amount of time from lunch, everything was fine, until an hour or 2 after lunch? I don't know. I don't know. But clearly something happened. Now, there was reports that the sheriff and the judge were looking at each other's phones, and then after that, very shortly, he hands the phone back, and this is when the sheriff allegedly shoots the judge. Something had to happen. What? We don't know. We'll find out, I'm sure. I wonder what their demeanor was during lunch. Was there tension or were there easy breezy? Witness statements will be interesting. Mex Chica, from everything that I have heard about the lunch, everything was fine. Allegedly, everything was fine. But something happened. There's clearly something on those phones that literally triggered the judge, or the sheriff rather, into unaliving this judge. This was not like 1 or 2 pew pews. This was 8. 8. Uh, that's going to be a hard one to. It's going to be a very hard uphill battle whenever you pew pew someone 8 times and they are sitting at their job at a desk. Now, I know that this sheriff has a lot of support right now, still has a lot of support. People say they were both, nice to the public. Um, but there were also things being looked at. And the sheriff here was supposed to be interviewed, or maybe it was like a deposition on S acts that they believe that he knew what was going on allegedly in this courthouse. Don't know if sheriff has had many stresses, although very rumors. There is a lot of rumors. And the I can't remember if it was the judge's wife or the sheriff's wife. They both have families, and I'm saddened that this has happened. I'm saddened for the victims uh, that claim that they have been, um, made to do favors in order to get a lesser sentence. Seriously, accident. How? I'm not being rude. Cindy, I don't know what you mean. Accident, as in, uh, Thank you so much, Leslie. Thank you very, very much. Really do appreciate you, my friend. Amazing on you, darling. Thank you so much for your support, Leslie. If the judge charged at him or hit him, it doesn't give Stines the right to use lethal force. It doesn't. It doesn't. And that's what, I know what this sheriff has a lot of support, but we also have to understand that wrong is wrong. Wrong is wrong. You cannot unalive someone. You can't do it. That's not for us to decide, much less in when you're the sheriff, much less when you're at work, and that's just the way it is. I wonder if the daughter was getting into rugs and under the table. I don't know. I don't know. The sheriff states that the only words that he said when he was arrested is, I can't remember if it was I think it was he tried to take my wife and daughter. My friend CJK is still hidden blocked. Okay, I'll look at it right now. We're gonna play this. Listen to this, y'all.
The judge, Kevin Mullins.
This actually is happening in Carter County, where the court hearing is happening, but Lecter County is where the shooting took place. Of course, they had to move it just to keep everything unbiased and fair for this case where so many people know this judge and the sheriff. Let's go into that arraignment from the beginning.
This is
Mr. Miller,
today.
do you believe that he's entitled to a public defender at this time?
I do, Your Honor.
And why is that?
This is a capital eligible case, and I believe that the cost of defending.
This is a lot different than being a sheriff. I mean, when you're a sheriff, you are, kind of the king of the county, right? You are the head of the county, the law. And to go from that to literally being at the mercy of the court system is a big drop.
Ethical defense of a capital eligible case will exceed his means.
Would you like to respond to that, Mr. Steele?
I would, Your Honor. A couple of things. One, I believe what he's telling me is that he's been out soliciting a client, which is obviously not allowed under our ethical obligations as attorneys. Two, even if he has and he's been out trying to discern how much his financial capacities are, he's wasting state resources without an appointment. And this court is the party that appoints an attorney, not DPA, whatever division, just because they think he's going to need one.
Would you like to respond to that, Mr. Miller?
Your Honor, in cases like this, it is essential that a defense investigation start immediately, and I haven't solicited anything, but advised Mr. Stines of his rights, and if the court appoints us, we will represent him.
Is he still the sheriff of?
CJK should be able to chat now. I just fixed it. They may have to go back out and come back in. But listen to listen to this.
And I haven't solicited anything, but advised Mr. Stines of his rights. And if the court appoints us, we will represent him.
Is he still the sheriff of Leslie County?
At this point, I believe so.
Yes, he is still the sheriff of Fletcher County. That is insanity. The sheriff was allegedly sent pictures of his daughter allegedly giving. Oh my God. Yep, we can see. I don't know why you were blocked. It must have been an accident. I apologize.
Letcher County.
Letcher County, I'm sorry.
Judge, I can't speak to that, and he currently is still the sheriff of Letcher County.
Yeah, well,
Still the sheriff.
I don't think he would qualify as an indigent defendant.
Oh, why aren't they texting me back?
Oh
Are they
my
mad at
God,
me? Do
one
they not
second.
like?
Hold on, let me fix my thing to where we don't get commercials. Oh God, hold on one second.
We
Arraignment. Are you Shawn Stines?
Yes, sir.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can't be used against you. Have your silence can't be used to find you guilty. County attorney must prove your guilt, or the Commonwealth must prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
17.
You have the right to call witnesses on your behalf. You have the right to cross-examine witnesses called against you. You have the right to a speedy public trial by a jury of your peers.
No.
You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, I'll appoint one to represent you. And you have the right to appeal any decision that I make. You're charged with murder, a capital offense here in Kentucky, a Class A felony, punishable by 20 to 50 years in prison, 25 years to life in prison, 25 years to life without the possibility of parole, and the possibility of the death penalty. Do you have an attorney, Mr. Stines?
I have not hired one.
This is the thing I don't get, right? This is the thing I don't get. Like, his daughter wasn't in trouble, though, right? Like, she never got in trouble to where she was made to do these favors, because that would probably, he would probably, so I don't know. I'm very much in the middle at this point until I hear more. She was, I mean, it sounds like the judge was, I mean, this man had a wife and children. Right. He will be sheriff until they make him resign or he is proven guilty. Yeah, he's still getting paid. He's still getting paid as sheriff. Tell me what is going on. Did the judge mess with the daughter? That's a rumor as of now, Rhonda. That's some things that's been alleged. I mean, obviously, I believe there is something to do with his wife and his daughter, because we do know that those are the words that he said. And that's the only words he said after this happened, right? He tried, what was it? He tried to take my wife and my daughter, or something about his wife and daughter.
Have you tried?
I mean, it's just twisted. If this is true, this judge going out to lunch with the sheriff while he may be allegedly messing with the sheriff's daughter, maybe wife, and you're having lunch together. He took my wife and daughter. Thank you, Hey Jude. It's good to see you, Rhonda. That's crazy. I would hate to see what's happening in Hawkins County. I mean, we already know about the sheriff's son, right, in Hawkins County. But what I do feel sorry for is I feel sorry for the family members of the judge, because they didn't know any of this, right? They didn't know any of this. To them, this, they may, it's going to take a long time to process this. They just knew him as their dad or their husband. And that breaks my heart.
To hire an attorney. Have you spoken to any attorneys about taking your case?
No, sir.
And are you telling me that you don't have the means to, do you not have the means? Do you own a home?
Yes.
Do you own any other real estate?
Got a place in Tennessee, but I still owe for it with the bank.
Yes, but you know how much equity you have in your own home?
My home and my property is paid for.
And do you have an estimated value of that real property?
I think the PBA's got it on.
I think it had to do with something on the phone, right? I mean, you don't, this is just my opinion, but you are having lunch, let's say at noon, with each other. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. And 2 hours goes by. 2 hours goes by. The sheriff takes the judge in the chamber and they start speaking. And from what I understand, the sheriff gets up, locks the door, and then they exchange phones, look on each other's phone, and then the sheriff hands back the phone and pews him. And then, from what I understand, the sheriff touched the judge's phone, like cleared out. I don't know if I'm not saying he cleared out, but he touched the phone to do something on the phone. And then he went out of the chambers and was immediately arrested. And the only comment that he made was he took my wife and daughter
For about $45,000.
And what's your income?
I was thinking about that, allegedly innocent. I was thinking if there was photos of his daughter on there, did he, he may not even deleted it, but he may have just taken it off so that wouldn't be the first thing seen, right? I kind of thought about that myself.
It's based on statute. I think this year it was going to be $115,000.
Do you have monthly savings, bank account?
I had a checking.
Can you imagine how, and again, this is speculation. If the sheriff's wife, especially, was being unfaithful or had some sort of inappropriate relationship with this judge, can you imagine how betrayed you would feel? That is betrayal for sure, betrayal, right? Your daughter, like, she's young, right? I'm not saying this happened, but there could have been some grooming, if you will. her being 17, him being older, and the power that a judge has, which in many aspects, the judge is more powerful than the sheriff, right? And so if you think about it and speculating if that is the case, which we don't know yet, I want to make that clear. But that would be such betrayal. Your daughter is one thing, but your wife, and did the daughter and the mother both know that they were potentially involved with the same person? I don't know. I was told the judge got his 17-year-old daughter. I have heard that as well. Drag time. That she may be pregnant. But, it's just speculation at this time. We just don't know. There was a sheriff in Oklahoma who had the local kids running DRUGS, then used the threat to arrest to have with many of the teen kids. Some of these guys are something very similar happened in my state, but it was a prosecutor. He had court. Okay, I'll read that, Castle. Thank you. Did you email that to me? Right. Why phones were everything goes so wrong. Well, I mean, it still could be, and again, we're just speculating here. If, let's say, a lot of people are saying there was pictures that are not good pictures, right? But it could also be, let's just say, for instance, she was pregnant, which we have no idea if she is or not. I want to make that clear. But it could be something like an ultrasound, right? Or text messages. You just don't know. For especially the small town. Yeah.
Sir, it's my understanding that he's in the process of losing his job as the sheriff of Letcher County, obviously, and will not have income going forward. His family is not prepared for this eventuality. And again, I think the cost of defending one of these cases can reach well into the several $100,000.
You'll be able to obtain counsel to represent you on these charges within those 10 days.
I hope so. It's kind of hard, where I'm at, have contact with people I need to.
That it is going to take a considerable amount of money to retain an attorney to represent you on this capital offense. However, I don't believe you do at this time qualify as for public assistance due to the fact that you aren't indigent. However, based on the circumstances of this case and the fact that we do need to have a preliminary hearing within 10 days, I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you for the limited purpose of assisting you at your preliminary hearing. If and when this case does proceed to circuit court, The circuit court may require you to hire your own counsel. Do you understand that, Mr. Stines?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll enter. Does he want to enter a plea at this time?
Your Honor, he would enter a plea of not guilty and request a date for preliminary hearing.
All right. We'll set the preliminary hearing next Tuesday, October the 1st at 1 o'clock in West Liberty, Kentucky.
Excuse me, Your Honor, we said October 1st at 1 o'clock.
Yes, October 1st at 1 o'clock in West Liberty, Kentucky at the Morgan County Judicial Center.
Okay, so I want to read this to you, this part to you. Just days before the pew-pewing on September 16th, Stines was deposed in an ongoing federal lawsuit involving a former deputy who hold on one second, where'd it go? Sorry, just days before the shooting, oops, I said it. On September 16th, Stines was deposed in an ongoing federal lawsuit involving a former deputy who coerced a woman to have sex with him in 2021, CNN previously reported. The lawsuit alleges the allegations against the deputy, quote, were not appropriately investigated by Sheriff Stines, end quote, who fired the deputy in 2022. Jonathan Shaw, the attorney representing Stines in his official capacity in the lawsuit, told CNN in an email he did not have the authority to speak on Stines' personal behalf in the federal suit or the unaliving case. An act of violence between two men, quote, I love my brothers, county attorney says many residents who knew the two prominent figures in the community and friends of both sheriff and the judge said they were stunned by the unaliving and the struggling to understand why this had happened. The quiet, seemingly routine day in the court turned chaotic when police received a 911 call just before 3 p.m. I think it was like 2:50 p.m. You know, you usually have lunch around 12 o'clock. And by 3 o'clock, there's 911 calls coming out. It is, Kevin. It is. It is. You're right. Hearing reports of an active pew-pewer in the courthouse, court security officer Wallace Kinser and Watts, the circuit county clerk, leapt into action, leading attorneys and court staff away from unknown danger that lurked in the chambers, according to Matt Butler, Commonwealth attorney for Letcher County. Fear rippled through the county as students in Letcher County public schools were placed on lockdown shortly before 3:30 p.m. Mullins was found with multiple pew-pew shot wounds and was pronounced deceased at the scene, police said. So on September 16th, Stines was deposed in an ongoing federal lawsuit involving a former deputy who coerced women to have sex with him in 2021. The lawsuit alleges the sexual allegations against the deputy were not appropriately investigated by Sheriff Stines, who fired the deputy in 2022. So they were both being named in this, right? The judge who was deposed, and the sheriff, who they are claiming that this was not properly investigated, and the I think it was the bailiff was just fired.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything else before we adjourn this hearing?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
No,
Just
Your
one
Honor.
thing, Judge. I do have one thing, Judge, just for clarification. In regards to transportation for the defendant, how would the court prefer? I don't care to do an order for that to be done.
I was thinking that we would have state police post 8 transport if they would. I don't know that we'll need an order. I'll just request it, and if that's a problem, we can work out of it, transportation. Is that all?
Nothing further from our end, Your Honor.
All right. This hearing's adjourned.
Thank you. It would be excused, sir.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
Sheriff Shawn Stines there pleading not guilty to the murder charge against him for the death of Judge Kevin Mullins. There's so much to break down from what we just saw, but we are going to get to a break, and next we're going to have our Matt Johnson, who is on the YouTube unfolding in the
And Matt, good afternoon to you. First of all, what stood out to you during this hearing?
Ted, Julia, nice to see you both. So what stood out to me, even though it was a Zoom hearing for the most,
I think there's going to be so much that comes out on everybody. I don't think it's going to be just the judge, to be quite honest with you. I think there's going to be stuff that comes out, right? I mean, it's particularly on the judge, but I think there's going to be a lot of powerful people with their names being dropped, or they're going to do everything to cover anything they can up.
most part for the main parties involved in this, including the special prosecutors and who appears to be the public defender and this defendant from the jail there was still drama. And there were 4 major takeaways. First time.
Well, I mean, yes, was it yesterday? Day before yesterday, we were speaking about this. A woman, Melissa, thank you so much for your Venmo, my dear. Really appreciate that. Okay, Pooh Bear, I'll look. But yeah, there's a woman who says she knows about a lot of this, and that she is implying, or I think she might be outright saying, she is a victim as well. And she's angry. She is angry about all of this. And this happens more than we would ever like to think. And, and let me tell you something. Again, if the sheriff knew about this, if he knew about this, and he let this go by with other people, but when it happened to his family, that's a problem as well. We gotta speak. That's just the truth, guys. So I'm hoping he did not know a lot of this. I'm praying, because I don't want to think a sheriff knew that other people were being used, manipulated, coerced into a lighter sentence for S favors. and it was overlooked up until it hit his family. So, you know, again, we don't know, but I'm just saying, if that is the case, wrong is wrong. It's, you know, more than one person can be wrong.
Hearing from this defendant, this sheriff, who is still the sheriff that we heard. He's still employed by the county, still receiving that pension, has not resigned, has not been removed. So that's number one. Number two, we heard him plead not guilty by way of an attorney who actually isn't his attorney just yet. That's number three. There was a lot of drama over the fact that he had a defense attorney by his side who wasn't yet appointed because he hasn't been declared indigent yet, which means that it hasn't been proven by the court that he doesn't have a way to pay for his own representation. He actually admitted to the court that he hasn't reached out to any defense attorney on his own right. And we also know that the next hearing, the preliminary hearing, is October 1st, well within that 10-day period that this special judge wants to move this along and get it into big court before it gets tried before a jury of his peers if it gets that far. So those are the main takeaways here. But let's go back to the drama because there was.
So going a little bit more in that, Stines is a defendant in an ongoing federal lawsuit over allegations a former deputy traded favorable treatment for a woman on home incarceration in exchange for SEX UAL favors inside Mullen's private courthouse office. A second woman later joined the case. There's never just one. I'll just say that. There's never just one victim, ever.
There's a lot of drama today over the fact that there was a defense attorney, a public defender that was standing by his side. This defendant appearing in a gray jail inmate uniform. Right next to his side was defense attorney Josh Miller. And that was where the back and forth was because, again, the sheriff, now turned suspect, has not turned in the proper paperwork saying that he needs a court-appointed defense attorney, but the judge allowing this so that it can move on to the next phase at this point in time.
Yeah, all eyes are on that next phase, Matt. Thank you so much for that live report, and we know we're going to be getting updates from you as this case continues to unfold. Let's bring in criminal defense attorney and former district attorney Matthew Mangino, who is standing by. Because Matthew, a lot happened in that hearing that we just heard. Let's talk about the first thing that Matt mentioned, which is this issue of payment. We heard that the judge has, rather the sheriff, and the judge was asking the sheriff about his funds, his money, that he has a house that's paid off. What are the rules in terms of whether or not he can get a court-appointed attorney where essentially the state is going to have to pay for his representation?
Well, right. In every state, in every county, they have a process where, you know, someone who is indigent, who cannot afford an attorney, has to go through a process of filling out an application, and they'll determine based on the application whether or not that person is in fact unable to pay for counsel and would have counsel appointed for them. We heard testimony, we heard the judge talk about the fact that he still is the sheriff, so he is still being paid. You know, the process to remove him may be an involved process. I was involved in a very similar situation, not a homicide, but an elected official on the county level who was prosecuted while I was a district attorney. So removing someone who's been elected to a position can be a difficult process if they don't want to resign from that position themselves. So here, you know, at first blush, it would appear that he has the resources to retain counsel for himself and would not be entitled to a court-appointed counsel.
Does he have to bleed his resources and then be eligible? Because, of course, if this is a capital case, that hasn't been determined yet. If it is, then he will rip through likely all of his resources. And that leaves his family, you know, who is not to blame. One we can assume destitute. What is?
I think he should be. I mean, I think he should be awarded support, legal support, because he was charged with capital unaliving. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to stay that, and it doesn't mean it's going to stick. But I mean, yeah, I hope she, well, public defender. Thank you. I couldn't think of public defender. But I think it should happen. I think they should give it to him.
Is the guideline there? No.
I mean, he makes $115,000 a year. It's, it's not chump change, but it's also not, an extreme amount. I don't think he has, he's got 2 homes. I think one's worth $45,000.
When can a defendant receive counsel on the county's dime? Is it after they've already depleted their resources?
Yes.
Well, if they have resources and if they have income, at least at the outset, they're not going to be entitled to
a year?
A court-appointed counsel. They're not going to be entitled to free representation. Obviously, as they use up those resources that are available to them, they can reapply to have a court-appointed attorney. They can apply to have certain resources available for expert witnesses and things like that. But if you're employed, and he is employed right now, and you have some assets, a house, bank accounts, you're not going to be entitled to free representation. You're going to have to retain your own counsel.
Yeah, Sheriff Stines, this was our first time getting a look at him. It sounds like he's not going to continue to have a job. He's expecting that they are going to fire him in the middle of this litigation over what he did. This was a man who was the bailiff at one point for the judge that he killed, Matthew. Your thoughts on, I know we don't know what the motive is. We didn't get any inkling of what that might be during this hearing, but do you have thoughts on where his defense might go in this case at this point?
I mean, that's an interesting question. We know so little about what their argument was about in chambers. We know that it's been suggested there was an exchange of cell phones. And then, immediately after that, the sheriff shot and killed the judge. We can only speculate
it was a second term
beyond those cell phones or what the substance of that argument was. But obviously, there are some important issues that have to be, sort of unpackaged here for us to really get any idea of why something like this would happen. Friends, people who just had lunch together, and one of those individuals would shoot and kill the other.
Yeah, and both with a very expert knowledge of the system and the consequences of shooting and killing somebody. Both
inside of the courthouse.
Yeah, it's a fascinating case.
All right, there we go. There's that. It's one of those. I mean, I think any attorney would jump on this just for their name sake. This is something it's going to be a very, very high profile case, right? And I'm sure that they would jump on it pro bono. But I do think, oh, you're fine, Tori. You're fine, darling. Yeah, I feel really bad for people that was, the lady on house arrest. And, it's hard to tell how many victims that are out there. And I'm sure more will come out, but I also believe that it still will not be all of them. Is there a statute of limitations on child? Child, it depends on what you're talking about. If it's for R or there's no statute of limitations on R. SA, there is generally, but I don't know how the Commonwealth of Kentucky is. So thank you, Microdot. The governor, Andy Beshear, Beshear, am I saying Beshear? He has formally requested Stines' resignation in a letter his counsel sent to the sheriff Wednesday. The governor wants Stines to resign by Friday. The letter said if he does not step down, the governor plans to, quote, move forward with removal, end quote, under a state statute that allows him to remove peace officers from their positions in case of neglect of duty. So there's that. The Mountain Eagle, they've been doing a great job covering this case. Where do we go from here? Is the headline. Where do we go from here? No one among us could have ever imagined our sheriff would unalive our district judge. What's next for Letcher County? Wow. So very, very powerful. Yeah, he's been charged. So I don't know if that would be considered, not following through, but you're right, he has not been convicted of anything. He is still considered innocent until proven guilty. The stories about small town sheriffs are always so extra. Yeah, I mean, I'm from, small towns, and the sheriffs and people in higher authority, they're kind of revered in a lot of small towns. And so it's interesting. It's interesting. We're gonna keep up on this. I may eventually go to Letcher County and maybe do some interviews once things settle down a little bit. We'll see when trial will start. So we'll figure it out. Yeah, Rhonda, exactly. Guys, I will be live here in just a little bit, within the next 30 or 40 minutes. I will be live for our main live of the day. Speaking about Sebastian Rogers, we did a great live earlier this morning, learning about some things, speaking about some things that we learned last night. Very, very interesting. We're staying on the Sebastian Rogers case and focusing on that, not the BS that people are literally making up, pulling out of their hats. Single mom, thank you, my dear, for renewing your membership. Really, really do appreciate it, my dear. What did Carmelita say? Wow, Carmelita, you rock. Someone said court. Where's that, Carmelita? Oh, oh, thank you, Court TV. He has been charged, but has not pled guilty. Yep, yep, that's right. Yep, yep. He pled not guilty. Not guilty. There we go. All right, guys. Thank you all. Court TV, tell Vinny hello. Love Vinny. All right, guys. I love you. I'll see you guys in a little bit. We're going to be speaking about Sebastian Rogers. Stay tuned. God bless.